We'd like to start off by wishing our Chinese viewers a very happy Lunar New Year.
Hi, my name is Tai Zuyin. 祝大家身体健康，万事如意。
Hello, I'm Yang.
Hi, I'm Wang Qili.
祝大家新年快乐，恭喜发财，万事如意。
Hi, I'm Aaron Chia.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
祝大家恭喜发财，
身体健康。
Welcome to a special episode of Badminton Unlimited. This week, India's Ashwini Ponnappa is the star of the show. Ashwini Ponnappa comes with sporting pedigree. Her father played hockey for India, and while that may have seemed like the logical choice of sport, Ashwini pursued her true love instead, badminton. From starting the sport at the age of 8 to winning a gold medal at the 2010 Commonwealth Games, Ashwini is already one of India's biggest success stories in badminton. But the 31-year-old continues to reach new heights and chase her dreams of Olympic glory.
I think one of the things that I've loved since the time I was a kid, and something that I truly believe, is to enjoy myself on court and to have fun. I love that when that happens, everything's in flow. Everything goes really well, especially when I have a blast on court. So that means I'm literally flying on court. So that's something that really resonates with me and something that I truly believe in. Hi, I'm Ashwini Ponnappa and you're watching Badminton Unlimited. I won my first sub-junior national title in the girls doubles category along with my partner, and of course at that point of time I was also studying, so I was in, I think, the 9th standard or the 10th. So you have to make that choice. Are you going to choose studies or are you going to choose sports? And for me, badminton was always definitely first priority and studies the second. So yeah, I think it was at that moment when I realized that badminton was something that I really wanted to pursue. It was the start of my career. Jwala already had a lot of experience, so I was just getting into the scene. And it was more like, let's see how it goes. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, well and good. And Jwala was already a big name, and she's already an established player. And yeah, for me it was more about grabbing the opportunity and making sure that I did everything possible to be able to play with Jwala. But I think the good thing is that our game styles matched quite a bit when we started playing, so there wasn't a lot of discussion that needed to be done in terms of how we're going to rotate, how we're going to play. A lot of good memories, a lot of good wins, a lot of firsts for us, so definitely it's been amazing playing with her. I feel like the defining moment for us was winning the 2010 Commonwealth Games, because after having won the gold there, things kind of changed overnight. Like the next day you had loads of people knowing who you are, and I mean it was crazy, that moment after having won the Commonwealth Games. And I think the important part here was the fact that it was held in India, so that meant a lot of people watched the match, and it was, I think that was the one that changed things for us. I've always enjoyed playing doubles. I've loved playing doubles. It's always been fun for me, but singles was something that I still did want to pursue and try, though my performances in doubles were way better than it was in singles. I mean, it was quite natural that I would be chosen as part of the national camp as a doubles player. But at that point, it wasn't something that I voluntarily did. It's not something that I decided, hey, I'm going to stop playing singles and just play doubles. It was more like, okay, I've been chosen as part of the national camp as a doubles player, so that meant that I could train for doubles and still play singles. But things didn't turn out that way. Little by little, doubles became more serious, and I was asked to not play singles anymore and just completely focus on doubles. Now finally, I'm happy that doubles was what I chose. But every now and then, if I do get an opportunity to play singles, I'll definitely grab it and try and give singles a shot. a player like me who loves playing at the back half of the court, there's a huge difference between the two events. Because in women's doubles, if you have a partner who rushes in and moves into the net, it works out quite well because I'm opening out and looking out at the back half of the court. But then if it's a mixed doubles, the girl is by and large expected to like move into the net. And I've always struggled with doing that. I'm like, no, I need a men's mixed doubles partner who would rush into the net. But yeah, over time I've learned to like move in and trust the guy at the back half of the court. It's hard, but then I've learned to like adapt. The focus in terms of my game is definitely to like get a better start in terms of serve and receiving, and a lot more variation from the back court because I am known to have like a fairly hard smash. But I think it's important to have like bring in about variation of strokes. So that is something that I have been focusing on. I've had like loads of coaches so far in my career, and everyone's like played a role into like helping me get to where I am. But if there were few coaches like that, I would definitely mention, especially in the past couple of years, it would be Yusuf coach, who's helped me out a lot, Tom John, and Umendra, who's currently working with me, and Paul. It's very important to like trust the coach and like relying on him to understand that he knows what he's doing for your game. And I feel like that's really important. That along with communication. Communication for someone like me is key, and positivity, because I love working with coaches who can turn negative situations into positives and who are constantly encouraging you and like motivating you. I love working with such coaches. I mean, I remember this, it's not from a coach, but from Declan, my strength and conditioning coach. I remember during the 2011 World Championships, there was something that he said to me that stuck throughout the tournament. And he was like, Ashwini, just like keep your head up, walk fast, no matter what, don't look down. And that was something that I religiously followed throughout the tournament, and it helped a lot. But apart from that, I think it's really important, especially when things aren't going well on court, to have a coach who can turn things around like for you mentally. It could be giving you positive words of advice. It could be trusting that he's telling you the right strategy. The dream would be to definitely win a super series, to like qualify for the Olympics, win an Olympic medal. So yeah. One of the things that I wouldn't really bend backwards to please anyone is probably my physical fitness regime, because what I've been doing so far has definitely helped. And I've also noticed that the minute I do something because someone's asking me to do it to prove certain things, that messes things up for my body. So yeah, that is definitely a no-no. I'm just going to be like, hey, it doesn't matter if it might not look like I'm working really hard. As long as it helps me, I'm definitely going to follow this. In terms of my fitness, I think the most important thing that I've been focusing on the last couple of months has been to make sure that my body is fit, injury-free, and managing the niggles that happen. Because being a professional badminton player, of course, all of us go through aches and pains, and it's important to like manage that well and not let it like get to a point where it's really bad. So that has been definitely something that we have been focusing on the last couple of months, and it's nice to be able to like work with a strength and conditioning coach on a daily basis. Thanks to COVID, we've managed to find a way of virtually working out, and that means that there isn't really a break. So if I'm going home to meet my parents, or if I'm in Hyderabad, or if I'm traveling, none of that matters because I have like my virtual coach with me everywhere. Well, normally I would work out before getting onto the court. I mean, I don't have a huge gap between my gym session and the on-court session, but it doesn't really matter because for me, I feel like whatever I do in the gym kind of opens up my body and makes me feel good when I get onto the court. Today was quite different because I played first and then I gymmed after. So when that happens, I do tend to do lesser than what I would otherwise do. So yeah, today was a mix of all the exercises I do, and wasn't something that I specifically do, because on certain days, like yesterday was just legs. So today was a mix of both legs and upper body. So yeah, it depends. I mean, I like the fact that it depends on how my body is feeling. It depends on various factors on what I'm going to be doing the next day, you know. Like, it could be something as simple as, okay, I've trained and then I'm feeling like my legs are tired, then I wouldn't really focus on the legs, it would just be upper body. So there's a lot of discussion regarding how my body is feeling, how I'm feeling, which determine what I'm doing in the gym. I definitely prefer playing. I mean, I'm fairly good when it comes to running. I've naturally been fast, but it's just that since a while now I haven't really run, because I had a back issue in 2010 and I was kind of advised by the physio saying, Ashwini, I think it's good if you don't run because it might come back. And that's all I needed to hear, because I had been running like crazy up until then. And I'm like, okay, fine. If I don't have to run, I will try and figure out a way to stay fit without running. So yeah, it's been years since I've run, and in between, occasionally I would run here and there, because the coach would be like, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and you need to run. And I would kind of literally run to show that, hey, I can run, rather than actually believing in running as such. And since I work with Declan, I mean, Declan doesn't really force me to run or say, hey, you need to run so much or you need to cycle so much. Even though it might not look flashy or it might not look like I'm doing a lot, as long as it's helping my body, I would definitely follow that. And that's something I've learned now after years. I mean, like initially when I was working with Declan, I was like, oh my God, I don't feel like I'm working out, because I didn't feel like I was being killed. But then later I realized that whatever I was doing was definitely showing on my body in terms of me getting leaner, because I was always strong, but I had like bulkier muscles. So I like the fact that I still had strength, but my arms were toned, my legs were toned. I think that's important. And I also felt like moving on court in terms of aches and pains and addressing them, if you feel a difference, you definitely will go with whatever is being asked of you to do, right? So in terms of working out in the gym, I definitely trust what I'm doing. The target is to feel strong on court and not have any aches and pains. I mean, that is the biggest target for me right now, because I did have an injury during the start of the year. So the initial part of my training the last couple of months was definitely focused on my knee, focused on my calf muscles. So now it's more about managing my body. So if I'm pushing myself on court, it's about managing the load off court in order to for that to help me on court, if that makes sense.
It's time for a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out more about Ashwini off the court and meet the person who probably knows her best.
Drive, ride, spend time with the dogs.
Plus, what she really thinks about other players on tour. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Ashwini Ponnappa. Here's my story, and you're watching Badminton Unlimited. I grew up in Bangalore, so I'm born and brought up in Bangalore. So I did my schooling here, I did my first PU, second PU here, but then I did my degree in Hyderabad. So I've also lived in Hyderabad for quite a bit, but the major part of my life I have been in Bangalore. The environment was pretty family oriented, because both my parents worked, but despite the fact that both of them worked, we definitely spent a lot of time together. We had a lot of family members coming home for meals and a lot of parties, and I think I was pretty lucky to have grown up in the household that I grew up in, because it was a positive environment for me, and at the same time it was fun, you know, it was nice. And it's not like we had a lot of extravagant stuff. Even if it was a tiny place, we were really happy with what we had. So I quite like that. I have a lot of good memories of my childhood. My dad was a hockey player. He played for the state, and he's gone abroad and played for the club. So he's always been into sports. So my dad definitely had a huge role in the way I approach my game, because he had a very old school mentality in terms of make sure your tracksuit's on, make sure you're warming up really well, you've got to be sweating before you get onto the court. I love the fact that he would come with me for my early morning sessions when I would go and train, and it was nice having him travel with me. Being a sports person himself, I mean, he didn't really put a lot of pressure on me. He's normally patient and calm. One thing that I've heard a lot is that I was hyperactive and I would keep climbing up windows, jumping around, and if my parents took their eye off me for a second, I would go running somewhere. And yeah, I was pretty naughty, I think, when I was growing up. We had a dog growing up. We had a Dachshund whose name was Ashwini Ponnappa. And I've always loved dogs, and I was quite happy that this time around when we got stuck at home thanks to the lockdown, my husband's dogs were over with us. Up until now, after like the dog that we had when I was younger, we haven't really had a dog in Bangalore. Back home in Coog, where my parents live, we have about 4 dogs. I get to see them only when I go home, but nothing at home here. So it was really nice to have had dogs at home when we were stuck at home, because that's the best thing ever, you know, you have like so much time to spend with them and they're just the best. We met a long time ago. It's been a decade, and yeah, we kind of met on social media, sort of, but then also our dads, both classmates. So yeah, there's like this huge story behind that.
I mean, online was the you can say the medium through which we met, but then our dads are common friends. They studied in school together, so it was a very it was a common platform where we knew, you know, who each other were. I was also at that point of time pursuing to be a pro tennis player. It didn't work out, but yeah, I think the goals were common.
Yeah, and
We were both into sports and a lot of
similar values and beliefs.
Yeah.
Like we come from a hometown where alcohol is big. Like people love drinking and love our non-veg and stuff. But strangely, the two of us aren't a lot into alcohol. I think for me that was quite important at that point of time. We love
eating.
Eating.
Trying new food, new
Yeah.
cuisines, new dishes.
You know, when the two of us go out and we order for something to eat, even before the waiters left the plate and gone, we'd have gobbled everything.
So we eat a lot.
Yeah, and we eat
Maybe it doesn't
fast.
look that way, but then we eat a lot. Like we order a lot, we eat a lot
I know,
at every meal.
Yeah, we love eating. So when we go out with our friends, we've got to be more civilized and be like, okay,
Yeah.
they're eating one, just say sushi, and we're like, okay, they're eating one, you still got to wait. Like in Bangalore, one of the restaurants that we love going to is Infinity, because it's got a nice vibe. You can go there and sit and chill and have a good time with your friends while also having great food. So we love going there.
Also the same place, because one of the reasons why we like it so much is we've been meeting there for all the years before we got married. That was close to her place and one of the common places where we went to often. Otherwise, we like sports together,
Watching, playing.
yeah.
We
Drive, ride, spend time with the dogs.
Yeah. Who am I?
I think someone who is very energetic.
I love spending time with my friends. I love spending time with family, and I love going out to eat because I'm quite a bit of a gallivanter and get restless quite easily when I'm staying at home.
Loves pets.
I've always loved dogs, and I love rom-coms. It's a lot of fun. It's happy. It's got nice vibes.
Now I think it's a lot of Korean series.
I knew that was coming. I love footwear. So I think I've spent quite a bit on footwear. I love sushi. I like their katsu. And in Korean, I like their barbecue.
Loves her hometown, our hometown, which is the same, which is Coog.
If I were to like choose a cuisine that I could eat every day, it's definitely my mom's cooking, because her cooking is fabulous and she makes a wide variety, like from traditional Coog cuisine to also other stuff like Kerala cuisine and Kannadiga stuff. So yeah, it's different. I love my mom's cooking basically.
Otherwise, she's a good cook. She cooks well.
Oh.
I think Indian food. So your rice, dal, and Indian veggies. Pretty good. The curries are good.
I love the Harry Potter series because that was what got me started on reading. Up until then, I never really read, ever. I never touched the initial books. And then I love the movies so much so that like I watched the 4th Goblet of Fire, and then I want to know what's going to happen next. And my mom and brother had all the series at home, and I never read. So I was kind of grateful to have actually picked up reading with Harry Potter.
Loves music.
I love a mixed genre. Quite often it depends on my mood, and then I would listen to like a particular genre based on that. But mostly I would just like put my phone on like shuffle and try and wait and see what's gonna play, because I have like classical music, I have jazz, I have chill out house, I have dance, I have R&B, like everything. So it's nice that I'm surprised by what's playing.
Very sporty, active throughout the day.
I'm sort of obsessed with watching tons of videos on YouTube of small spaces being converted. And I've also fantasized about like every time I travel and I look at these tiny places, I'm like, oh, it would be cool to like do up that space, So maybe like, I don't know, a small space interior designer, maybe.
Loves driving.
I love having company while I'm watching sports. So thanks to him, I love watching basketball or whatever he's watching, I'm up to watching because it makes it very interesting.
Split tennis, table tennis.
I feel like you get to learn so much from everyone, from a Roger Federer to like Marat Safin, like everyone. And for me, it's always been about learning from everyone. Of course, the legends are legends and you can learn a lot from them. But so you can also learn from players who are upcoming, players who suddenly come and make it big. And I love all that. Hi, I'm Ashwini Ponnappa and I love reading, listening to music, love dogs, love spending time with my family and friends, and basically love a whole lot of things that I lose count of what all I love.
We've gotten to know Ashwini Ponnappa pretty well in this episode, but now let's get to the juicy stuff and find out what she thinks of her teammates.
I think someone who is very entertaining is Kashyap, because he cracks a lot of jokes and is definitely laughing quite a lot. Probably be Chirag Shetty, because he loves reading up on everything and he's kind of like an encyclopedia. A tie between Kashyap and Ajay Jairam.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories.
Satvik loves dancing actually. Satvik is a good dancer. I like the way Satvik dances. It's a lot of fun, enjoyment, and yeah.
3, 2, 1.
What do you say? Sai, Praneeth, and Shrikant. Loves to cook. Who loves to cook? Sanjana Santosh. Sumit Reddy. Ajay, he likes putting the aeroplane tags onto people, like just taking the luggage tag and putting it on people's backs and laughing at them.
If YES is yes, how would you pronounce EYES? What's that? Is? Okay. What do you see with? do you look like?
I guess Siki, because she gets scared. She loves watching scary movies, but at the same time gets scared. Satvik and Chirag. Satvik because of his strength, Chirag because of his angles. Probably both Satvik and Chirag. It's almost everyone, I guess. The entire team is always on social media. I think Saina Kashyap. I like Sindhu's style.
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have this week. Join us again for another special look at players' lives. Next week, baking and cooking with Singaporean men's single star Low Kian Yu as he gives it a go in the kitchen.
Is it like that or am I doing it wrong? How come mine all like very spread out?
I stress a lot of people watching.
Until then, it's goodbye and please stay safe.